Now, when you add the component of this mad scramble to raise money and to spend money, it becomes even worse for the obvious reason that we're concerned that there will be either the perception or the reality that judicial independence is undermined.
And independence doesn't mean you decide the way you want. Independence means you decide according to the law and the facts. Law and the facts do not include deciding according to campaign contributions. And if that's what people think, that threatens the institution of the judiciary. To threaten the institution is to threaten fair administration of justice and protection of liberty.
New Orleans, Louisiana. In the city they call the Big Easy, money has been known to buy elections. And that's exactly what's got a lot of people worried. That justice, too, might be up for sale.
For 25 years, Chief Justice Pascal Caliguero has set the standard for what a judge should be.
Up for re-election last year, the Chief Justice of the Louisiana Supreme Court was targeted by a business group, the Louisiana Association of Business and Industry, known as Lobby. They considered his voting record on the court anti-business.
We don't pick our opponents lightly when we make selections of people to target for replacing on the bench. The primary way we made the selection was tracking all decisions the Supreme Court had made over the last 25 years. So we drew the 25-year history, 50 cases, and determined how each one of the judges had voted on the merits of those cases. Chief Justice Pascal Caliguero had a 3% voting record. Now that's totally unacceptable to the business community way of thinking.
I've cast 50,000 votes in 25 years on this court. Now, if you want to go back and look at and pick and choose the cases in which you think that a given vote was wrong or it indicated a leaning of some sort, it's very easy.
He complained that she had handpicked the issues. Well, certainly I handpicked the issue. Was I going to let him pick the issues?
He encouraged his daughters to run by running with them.
Lobby had the money. Now all they needed was someone to spend it on.
The first thing is to find a good candidate. And we really worked for a long time to find Chuck Cusimano. He had been in the legislature. He was a sitting judge in Jefferson Parish. He was an aggressive, vibrant candidate.
Lobby had previously elected 2 Supreme Court justices, had poured a lot of money into their campaigns, and now had determined to get rid of this Chief Justice who had been fair to both sides all of his life. But the business community now does not care about the credentials or the qualifications of the candidate. They care about one thing. How will you vote? Will you vote with us? And so they chose to go out and get a candidate that would be completely aligned with them. It used to be that you didn't attack the other candidate. That was especially true in judicial races. Nowadays, it's attack, attack, attack. And that lays at the feet of the business community. They started the attacks, and they lay it on against the Chief Justice, a guy that has given his life to public service in Louisiana, been involved in no scandals, in no corruption, and then to have the business community, because of greedy, motivated, selfish interests, go after him. It was appalling.
To understand what happened in this campaign to Justice Caliguero, there's a story you need to know. A story about a small town called Convent, along the Mississippi River in St. James Parish. This stretch of the Mississippi River between Baton Rouge and New Orleans is known as the Chemical Corridor. 7 major oil refineries and hundreds of chemical and other industrial sites make this one of the most polluted places in the nation. Locals call it Cancer Alley. Governor Mike Foster, a wealthy businessman with a Cajun accent and a good old boy style, was elected in 1995 on a platform of attracting more industry to Louisiana. In this ad in the Wall Street Journal, the governor proclaimed that Louisiana is bending over backwards to attract new companies, with promises of tax breaks and legal protection from lawsuits.
We've got just about every kind of chemical plant that you can imagine here. Most of these chemicals are either known cancer-causing chemicals or they're suspected to cause cancer in humans. Right now I have a father-in-law that's dying of pancreatic cancer. I lost my mother at 57 from cancer. My neighbor died of cancer. The next-door neighbor to us, my aunt behind us, all died of cancer.
Encouraged by Governor Foster, Shintech, a subsidiary of a Japanese company, announced plans to construct a huge $700 million polyvinyl chloride plant near Convent. The governor was delighted, and his Department of Environmental Quality quickly approved the Shintech plant. Then something unexpected happened. Residents of Convent banded together to try to stop it.
We got sick and tired of being sick and tired. Now that's bottom line. Enough is enough.
If they'd only enforced the laws that's on the books now, we wouldn't have all the problems we have today. But what they're doing is overlooking the problems. Or when they do the inspections, it's covered up.
We have plants in Louisiana that discharge into the Mississippi River, single plants that discharge more than all of industry discharges in the state of New Jersey. We have 3 or 4 plants that outdo Ohio. I mean, we have world-class pollution here. The contamination levels that go into the Mississippi River are phenomenal. And, unlike other states, we drink this river.
Oliver Houck founded the Environmental Law Clinic at Tulane University in New Orleans, where he teaches law. Students at the clinic often provide legal services to people who couldn't otherwise afford it.
Good morning.
The state Supreme Court has allowed this student lawyer assistance for almost 30 years under a regulation called Rule 20. The low-income residents of Convent could not afford to hire lawyers to fight Shintech. Instead, they turned to students at the law clinic.
I hope you come out of the course realizing...
When Shintech came in, we raised the issue head-on. Is this environmentally just? This is a heavy polluting plant. It's right in the middle of a community that has already got 6 other plants overloading it with these same chemicals. If you look at the levels of contaminants these people are breathing, they're like 100 times what people breathe in the United States. They're more than 20 times what people breathe even in the chemical corridor of Louisiana. I mean, this is just astronomically unfair.
So for next time...
At first, Tulane was apprehensive about challenging a powerful corporation and a popular governor. But the Convent group persisted, and the law clinic finally decided to take on the case.
In the beginning, of course, I had thought that, well, the chances, just objectively, the chances of winning this case, as winning to them meant that the plant wouldn't come at all, were slim, and considering everything that was against us in terms of the administration. And as I started going to the meetings, just the level of conviction that they had started actually convincing me, you know, we may actually have a chance here.
Together here in the face of a terrible evil, the pollution, contamination, and destruction of the only environment we have.
Pat is extremely smart, extremely savvy. She thinks like a lawyer.
We filed an environmental justice petition. We've also filed a Title VI administrative complaint, which is a civil rights complaint, and there are perhaps more actions that are going to be filed.
While the students were teaching their clients about the law, the Convent folks were giving the students a lesson in the real world of Louisiana politics.
You always hear that a committed group of individuals can accomplish anything, and I'd always heard it, but, you know, if you don't have the personal experience, you think, right. And they did. I mean, this group accomplished something that no one would ever have given them any chance of accomplishing when this first started, including myself.
Shintech will not locate in St. James Parish.
In 1997, the Environmental Protection Agency ruled in favor of the Convent residents, saying the proposed Shintech factory failed to meet air pollution standards.
Shintech's a great victory, a huge victory. I mean, it's a big win, but the governor's not about winning like that.